You did well. You're live.
All right. Order in the court. Okay, it's not a court, but thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. It's March 17th, 2025. St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody behind the panel in front. Glad you guys can make it here tonight. Welcome aboard. We're glad you're here. You're here at the commissioners' meeting. All 5 commissioners are here, as well as the town manager and the assistant town manager. We're having our regular Monday meeting, so we're glad you made it. We've got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. We'll kind of dig into it a little bit. First, we want to lead off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Ed, since you're closest, as always.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Thanks for being here again. We start off with our commissioners' announcements and committee reports. Who is, Alan, are you ready to start on your side?
I'm ready.
Why don't you give it to us?
All right, so going over the parks meeting that we had a week and a half ago, I guess. Francis Morvay, he was a junior from PHS, discussed his Eagle Scout project to us. It will consist of construction of 4 benches, 2 over at the middle school pond, which is necessary, 1 at the pollinator garden, and the other one at, I believe it's Stevens Park. He's going to be using some of our local or contractors, I should say, to help with the steel, the welding. And of course, Preston will be able to help him guide and direct him a little bit more on the construction project of it. So they're going to be planning to do that between April and May. Consists of about 20 of his local scouts. And I know that they wanted to have a motion approved for the commissioners just so they can move forward on the project. So that's one thing. I know we also, with smaller things, we've had got our no parking signs on Wooten Avenue up and done. We also have it's over by the elementary school. Additionally, at PES, we have the lighted crosswalk signs that were installed, I believe, last week, a little bit of end of last week, right at the speed bump on Cattail at the exit of the elementary school. So that was necessary. We've had some congestion in there, to say the least. Spring work has commenced on all the athletic fields, streets, all by the park staff. Hopefully, mowing will be started by beginning of April, weather permitting, obviously. We're going to have a fishing tournament that's back May 31st at the John Poole Middle School Pond area. So that's going to be a great turnout. The other larger item that we had talked about was a covered pavilion at Wayland Commons. The aesthetic part of it, designs can be pretty similar to the band stage with the color of the brick, so on and so forth. The reason is it saves us, the town, Tara and them, about $40,000 per year in tent rentals with all the events that go on. So they wanted to come up and see what our thoughts are on that. It's going to be about 30 by 60 in size. And there was just a motion to be made to do a conceptual plan, just to get an idea of the design factors of that.
Do you have an idea of where?
Parallel to the band stage, closer to the stage.
Behind it?
In front of the stage.
Oh, in front of
Yeah,
the
it's going to be in front of the stage.
Okay.
Not like centered in the Wayland Commons area, but closer to.
For like the audience to.
Correct, exactly. So, would be used for that, used for a little bit of safety shelter as well during storms if they're out here during other events and market events. I know Niles is still working with the state on the Haller Avenue crosswalk.
We had a conversation about that. We were going to follow up with them on that, but we have not yet.
Yep. So, and then just for a safety issue on my side, living over in Hunter's Run areas, we're getting a lot more runners now that the weather's breaking. Safety issue wise, a lot of runners are not using reflective gear at night. I've had several on Tom Fox Avenue and Hughes Road. I've taken the notion that running down the middle of the street at 9 o'clock at night is effective, and I've seen a couple people, and I've been, close and luckily caught at the end. But again, I just want to see if we can get a little bit more, talk about it, a little bit more lighting or some kind of safety bulletin out there. If you're going to run at night, utilize the sidewalks, use some reflective clothing. Ironic, when we all left, I had taken another Parks Board member home with me, and we talked about it at the meeting, and lo and behold, it happened again on the way home. So it was just a little bit more safety. Just hope people can, again, just use the reflective clothes. They have plenty of it. So, and that is my report.
So where do we stand for what actions do we need to take in terms of having some sort of discussion about putting some sort of pavilion out there? How'd you guys leave it?
So,
We'll develop a concept plan, maybe some cost estimates. We'll talk about it during the budget work session and maybe get a consensus to either put it in for a line item. Maybe we won't fund it much this year, but in the out years possibly. That way we have the opportunity to look for grants. If we want to go that direction, that's the way we'd go, but we need to have that discussion.
Right, so are we at a very little cost scenario right now in terms of developing the next plan for that?
Minimal.
yeah.
Okay. So, and that was the consensus for the Parks Board, was that we would.
Correct.
That if, with the commissioner's consent, that we would be able to move forward with some sort of conceptual, better than back of the
Yep,
napkin.
minimal expense. And John will take, get involved, so.
Okay. It's fine. That's how the band shell started.
Very preliminary, but
That's fine. Just want to make sure that we're not spending a ton of money up front
Yep.
before we move forward, and that was the direction you guys wanted us to go.
correct.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any other questions?
Alan, did you want a motion for your, the Scout project?
I would like to make a motion for the approval of the Eagle Scout project for the 4 benches.
I'll second his motion.
Good. So we have a motion, Alan's made a motion to move forward with, give us a little more substance to it.
So I would say Francis Morvay's Eagle Scout project that entails the installation of 4 benches. 2 locations, or 2 of the locations are at the middle school pond, and 2 at Stevens Park, and 1 at the Pollinator Garden.
And for clarification, what will the town's role be for that?
It's really just assistance at this time. There's no funds to be expended as far as with that goes.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you. Good motion. Ed, you have the second? You're still good
Second
with
his
your
motion.
second? Okay, great. Any other questions for Alan on that? Town staff? No? All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Nobody? All right, good. Thank you. That's good news.
Yep.
Move forward with that. Thank you. Brian, you have a planning commission report for us?
Yes, sir. We met 5 days ago on the 12th, Wednesday the 12th. Pretty good packed agenda. We had a special exception applicant, Dr. Maria Hussein, who is a pediatric physician, wants to open a home business to see babies in her home, set up her basement as a clinic. Understanding the potential concerns of neighbors and issues with that, we set some guidelines of hours of operation, she suggested limiting the number of patients to 2 per hour, so half-hour appointments, which our driveway could handle the shuttling of 3 different vehicles if necessary, and to limit the hours of operation, weekdays 7 to 7 and Saturday 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then we motioned and that carried. We passed that.
And where's that located?
On Benning Way,
Bennett.
Bennett Way, excuse me.
Takes a real estate salesman to know the streets.
Yes. But right off Hughes there. And so it's the house on the corner of Hughes and Bennett.
Okay, gotcha. Good. Right.
And we met with the, I don't know what Joe's official title is, a
Yeah,
project manager,
he's
maybe,
a vice president of Mid-Atlantic Builders, who are building next door.
to discuss the entrance feature. It's a very classy design of stonework, and it's got a nice FC on it to represent Ferry Crossing that is embedded into stone, is not illuminated or sticking out. And then there's some stencil-ish looking letters, Ferry Crossing, Poolesville, Maryland, a little bit higher, but also very subtle. So it's not going to be sticking out, but if you're looking at it, you'll be able to see what it says. Then they had a request to have just to put their mark on it, their logo. And so that's going to be in the lower left-hand portion of the pillar. It'll just be a stone that is, again, just engraved with their logo. It's going to be no more than 10 by 20. So of the entire feature, it's less than a third of the way across of the entire base of the feature. So it's nothing very imposing at all. 10 by 20 inches, not feet.
Thank you for that.
And during the discussion with him here, we had some just exchange of dialogue about the end units on Fisher Avenue, one here on Fife and the other at the entrance, where on the plan they are facing, the side of the house would be facing Fisher. So over there by the entrance, they'll be looking at the parkland over there. And on this end, it'll be looking at Wayland Commons to give the front feature to the park side where a lot of people congregate. We had some discussion about how we might be able to improve the look of that. And just some exchange, some discussion, nothing really set in stone. I'm hoping we'll be able to continue that discussion, and they seemed receptive. They were asking for a change in adding a garage onto one unit that they didn't have on the plans. And so we were trying to leverage that to get a better look on the side of the house to Fisher.
Okay.
So
Is this the planning commission working with the builder?
It is.
To come with this? Okay. I'm sure town staff, you've been weighing in on the whole time.
Yes. And
Okay. Yes?
they have already been in communication on some things, so we'll have more.
Okay.
more updates.
Oh, really? Okay, I got it. Very good.
And we had some old business with the special exception for raising of livestock on Bud Road for the Coleman family. They had come back with originally, a month ago, we set some guidelines and we wanted to see some nutrient management plan from them. And they came back with a pretty good nutrient management plan that I believe Kathy Mim did look at and approved, and she thought, she gave a recommendation that it was good to go. So we gave the approval of basically two animal units, right?
Yeah.
For the 2 acres, and that's a pretty standard ratio. And then we talked a little bit about the cultural arts districts. The town staff have brought some renderings of what West Willard Road would look like in that area from between Fisher and Wooten. And we just started a conversation and got some feedback, and they're gonna come back with some different renderings and incorporate a few different more looks and give us some options. I suggested they just bring the guy that did to the planning commission, we can just tell them what to do, but they're not gonna do that. They're gonna give us some renderings.
Have them set up office and just go ahead and write. I got it. Did you say
Yeah.
Wooten and Fisher?
Yeah, but West Willard between Wooten and Fisher.
Got it. Okay, very good.
Yep, that's it.
Very good.
All right.
You two can decide who goes next.
Yeah,
Right down the line.
I'll do fair access, and then Ed is always my backup, fills in for things that I forget. So it's a nice situation. All right. We met last Thursday, and the topic that we talked about the most was the fields. When we were getting the funding to remodel the existing high school, one of the part of the negotiation to get moving forward and to get both gyms, keep both gyms, and have the size gym that we wanted was to agree to put off redoing all of the fields, the outdoor fields, not include that in this initial agreement. And so we are just beginning that process of making sure that it gets on the schedule to be done sooner rather than later. And so the first step of that is inviting the stakeholders involved out to the high school to do a tour so that people can see what our existing outdoor fields and equipment, buildings look like, what state they're in. And the principal has done a fantastic job of going to all of the other high schools, taking pictures of what every other high school has and what their buildings look like so that we can talk to the county and the and MCPS about making sure that our students have comparable equipment and facilities. And one of the things we talked about was when we talk about sort of equity for the rural community, is that in other areas, the schools, the not PTAs, what are they called? The booster clubs. They can't, when we have had funds to make either repairs or remodel, make improvements, we've been told that we can't use our booster club funds to do any of those improvements for our community because other schools don't have the funds from their booster clubs. But the fact is they already have those facilities. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about is maybe for our rural community, maybe that is a way to accommodate and meet our needs, is more of a community collaboration with MCPS funds and locally raised funds in order to get the equipment in the fields that we need. Okay, the second thing we talked about was, of course, the operating budget. We're in budget season. The operating budget was released, and there was funding for WUMCO, for the healthcare services that we're running through WUMCO, and so that's great news. There was not funding for the pool bubble. And again, remember, this is the operating budget, so it would be the operation of the pool bubble. So we are going to continue to follow up with that. It was in the capital improvements budget. So we want to make sure that the pool bubble is in both places. In order to push that forward, one of the things that we are doing is creating a video that will be released sometime next week or two. This is just like a 3.5-minute video where we do short little interviews with local residents and stakeholders, highlighting the importance of whether it's the healthcare services or having access to a pool right here in our community. So that way our county representatives can hear firsthand from us. We have found that to be really effective for them to hear directly from the residents. We are set to testify on both of those topics on April 7th. And then the last thing we talked about is about 2 months ago, we met with a lot of our local farm and land producers, food producers and farmers at Locals and American Farm Trust. And we, as the Fair Access Committee, are trying to get a better understanding of how we can support the farmers in the Ag Reserve. And one of the topics that came out of that conversation was the need for better visibility. There is a shortage of future farmers. There's not a pipeline of young people entering the workforce to become farmers. And so we thought one of the things that we could do as a town is to help provide some public relations to farmers and help people see what farming is like today, that it's not maybe the nostalgic small tractor that we might think of, but it's actually really high-tech equipment, tractors that are guided by GIS. We want to have some of that large, amazing equipment right here in Wayland Commons and have a farm day on National Farmers Appreciation Day, and this would be in October. So we're going to be working with people like Bob Sissel and different farm organizations, in addition to our amazing event coordinator, Tara, to make that happen. So that's it for access.
All right. Next up, Mr. Ed Reed.
All right, Sustainable Poolesville. So our next meeting will be on the 26th of March. And when I came here, when we talked about Sustainable Poolesville last time, I told you about an organization called HELPSI. I don't know if you remember HELPSI, but their organization, their mission is to keep linen out of the landfills. And so one of the things we would like to do for the Sustainable Poolesville Committee is have the representative from HELPSI just come to one of our commissioners' meeting to just share what a partnership would look like between HELPSI and Poolesville, as well as ways that would be beneficial to the local thrift store. And so I've had a chance to see the presentation. We had a chance to have dialogue. And so they're doing some really amazing things that would not be in competition with the thrift store. And so they really would like the opportunity. They've partnered up with different municipalities. And so to be able to share who they are, what they do, and then how that can benefit our folks here, and at the same time benefit the environment by keeping linens out
When
of.
you say linens, you mean all fabrics?
All fabrics.
Not just linen.
Yeah, all fabrics, but linen, all other fabrics out of the landfills. And so Donald and some of the other members, we were communicating about that a few days ago. I said, I'm happy to mention it here. Make sure you all are all right with that. Then Donald will set up with you all time for the representative from HELPC to come and present. Next thing with Sustainable Poolesville is that we have Pick It Up Poolesville is starting up again. And so Niles has sent something out, or
Will.
Niles will be sending out information. So I want to encourage folks to go out, sign up. The weather's going to start getting better. Saturday will be the next Pick It Up Poolesville, so you can be able to go online and join and help and keep Poolesville clean. All right, and then that's it.
Cool, very good. All right, thank you, Ed. First of all, before I get into my report, I want to thank all the scouts for being here tonight, watching government in action. If you don't mind, just stand up, and then we will applaud you. Nice. Wow. All right, good job. Now that we've applauded you, you got to go out and do something, which I know you guys are doing. So that is awesome. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for learning more about what we do from a government perspective. You can reach out to any of us at any time. All of us are very visible in the community. If you have questions, you want to learn more, you need to do a project, you need government help with it, please reach out. We're available. We love helping you all, and we want you guys to, just keep growing and keep doing what you're doing. So, and thanks for being here tonight. We appreciate it. My report, I'll make it as quick as I can. We, as Sarah alluded to, we're doing a video right now. That's just part of our outreach that we're doing to, we feel like it's important for us to be in front of county council and as well as any of the decision makers in the county to advocate what's best for Poolesville. So we've seen evidence of this right now. We have a budget that was just proposed by the county executive. We know that we're slotted in for community center, but it's not going to be till later on in the decade. We always want sooner. We always want faster. We have the piece of land, Dr. Dillingham Park. It's ready to go for the county to do what they need to do to build us a facility. That's a significant contribution on behalf of our taxpayers to donate that land to the county that we hope will help bring us up higher on the list and always be shovel ready. That's what our goal is here for the town of Poolesville, is to be shovel ready. So when their project is ready to go, we're ready to go. Speaking about that, you guys know that the county budget was released this week. The county executive's budget was released, and without getting too deep into it, I don't know how much higher, but taxes can keep getting raised in the county as well as the state, and it's something that we're going to be wrestling here with the town of Poolesville starting up this weekend when we have our budget discussions on Saturday. But these are tough times, and the county executive's budget proposal has been rejected already by several of the council members, including two that are running for county executive later on. And this is something that's going to be a big deal. It affects all of us, and it actually throws the burden of increased taxes on the people of Poolesville and in our region, as well as the state raising the taxes and proposing to raise taxes. We've asked for some good explanations. All of us have been communicating with our state delegation about where we are from a tax perspective and how the governor and how our legislators are going to work through this big budget deficit that I guess some people saw coming, but didn't think anybody had any idea of how big it was going to be. So this is a really, really big deal, and it is on the shoulders of Montgomery County that this tax burden is going to be placed. So you can bet that all of us behind the desk, as well as our state legislators, our delegates, our Senator, Brian Feldman, we have been working through them, to them, and with them to try and make sure that whatever happens tax-wise is equitable for our region and not just for the benefit of other regions. So somebody is standing up for Montgomery County. I feel like our delegation is doing it so far. I appreciate the commissioners chiming in whatever they can on it. It's a big deal. And it's something that we pay attention to at this level, and I want our residents to know that. So that's both county and state government are looking for increases. We also had recently, there was hearings down in Annapolis on solar energy and bringing solar energy to different parts of the state and seeing the best way to utilize solar energy. Needless to say, it's a divided field on this issue as well, because there's many people that feel like creating solar energy in the state of Maryland could be harmful to actual farming. So where farmland becomes too valuable for solar resources, that it doesn't make sense to farm it anymore. So our Senator, Brian Feldman, he was given the unlikely task from Governor Moore to figure out a way to get to a bottom line on this and a middle ground, and they're still struggling with that, and that's a big deal. So far, we've somewhat aligned ourselves with the farmers to make sure that farming is still protected, and that solar doesn't take over places where it just shouldn't be. But everybody knows that there is a big energy problem in Maryland, right? Geographically speaking, we're not Virginia. Virginia's 6 times the size of Maryland, and they have the ability to do things energy-wise that we do not do, just from a geographic standpoint. So if you pay any attention to what's going on in Annapolis right now, that's one of the big battles, is how are we going to develop energy for this state? Right now, we buy a majority of it from out of this state, and that's not a good situation for Maryland. So Maryland needs to figure out a way to generate energy. Solar is definitely one of the ways. There's other ways that people don't love talking about, in whispered words, nuclear, but it makes sense in a lot of ways. So I give our state guys a lot of credit. They're trying to work through this. It's a big deal. And once again, Poolesville's weighed in on that. Here we are in the center of the Ag Reserve. It's part of our duty to protect the Ag Reserve and to protect, but still be able to champion energy production. In the same vein, we talk about the incinerator, and we've seen a lot of controversy on that over the years, right? The county executive said he was going to close it 2017. No, I think you probably walk it back like 2012, 2017. People have said they're going to close the incinerator all the way down the line. The problem is, and we've challenged our environmental partners, Sugarloaf Citizens Association, MoCo Alliance, what's the alternative? If you close down the incinerator, what's going to happen? So they've got, I'm glad it's not a problem for us to solve, but at the same time, we see what they have, it's a real conundrum, and they've got to figure out what to do. The incinerator is up for a 5-year renewal right now, and there's quite a few people, including council members, that do not want to do that 5-year renewal because it just kicks the can down the road. We'll have a different county executive in 5 years, and they're trying to figure out what is the alternative. The alternative isn't pretty, right? So the incinerator is terrible for the environment. It burns all the trash. We need people to create less trash, less stuff that goes in there, right? But on top of it, the alternative is potentially to take our garbage and ship it to places that will accept our garbage. And then who does that land on the shoulders of? People that are potentially less fortunate or less able to fight back against having garbage delivered to their community. So there's no easy solution to this. And they have some big decisions. Link and I were talking about this today, that they have, it's coming down to how much money do you spend to keep the incinerator going versus how much money is going to cost to transfer what we end up doing with our waste, and then starting up and then having the waste delivered and having it processed somewhere else. So this is just, it's one of the biggest problems facing the county over the next several years. Again, we're going to have a new county executive, so this is going to land in their hands as time goes on. My guess is that they're going to do like a 1 or 2 year stopgap type thing, maybe 3 years, so that it doesn't just keep getting kicked down the road. So we'll see what happens.
I was just going to add, I just want to say good job for everything that Sustainable Poolesville does, because it is exactly the kind of work that they're doing to reduce what goes to the incinerator, like keeping fabric out of our garbage, from the ground up type of movements to solve this problem.
Report. We've had more communications about White's Ferry. Now, I know this sounds like a repeat conversation, and this has been taking place for years. More conversation. But we've kicked out some pretty hardcore solutions to the county where This just gets time for it to be taken off whatever level of burner it's on. We know it's not on the hot burner, and we know the different parties that are involved with this really haven't lit the fire themselves to try and get it going. So, well, as always, and as we've done perpetually, we have kicked out these proposals to county leaders. So we've kicked out something, and who knows if that'll. Thank you for listening to all the statewide level stuff. All right, next up in our group of things to do tonight, we got public comment. So Matt, have you already crossed out your name here? Is that what happened? You were a yes, and then you're a slice out.
I just thought it was a sign-up sheet.
Okay. I didn't mean to ask in front of everybody.
I'm good.
All right, good. You're still welcome if you want to. So we have 2 sign-ups for it, and I'm guessing that with both Tom and Jerry on the list, did you guys want to talk about items that were on the agenda, or would you like to just have general comment? On the agenda? And off agenda? Okay, so then this is your time. Come on up and identify yourself and give us your address, and
Great.
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It's good to see you again.
My name's Thomas McCaskill. I live over in Spatesville Road, 17119 Spatesville Road. Just want to comment, Mr. Yost and Mr. Brown, I met with you a couple weeks ago, and I kept doing some more research. I just want to make it public, since it's in the public record. This is about the water study by Pat Hammond, and the gist of he's not saying that Mrs. Mims' study's wrong or anything, but actually, just who I am too. Also, I'm a master plumber and gas fitter for almost 30 years. I worked in the field for a long time. So, so the water study that Mrs. Mims did, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I just think it needs to be updated. One of the things is it didn't have a lot of stuff on climate change, the amount of interference, and then the over allocation of horse pens branch. Back in '97, I guess it was, when I was looking it up, Poolesville had some issues with water, and the state of Maryland gave a temporary okay to go ahead and harvest some of that water for Poolesville. And the new development and everything like that is actually over what it's allocated for. So my thing is, I'm trying to make this public, is that I think that we don't have enough water in the town from what Pat says, Pat Hammonds. And Pat Hammonds is a renowned scientist, so is Mrs. Mims. They've actually, you all said they worked together before, so understand that. A letter's going to go to the state about this, because we want to make sure that it's documented, that it's been submitted, that people know about this. And if something happens, there might be a class action lawsuit if anything happens to the house values. Because if the water dries up in Poolesville, there is no real option for WSSC. I got another documentation right here also that all the different municipalities around here, like WSSC, Arlington Water, all these people are talking about, they don't have enough water for the people that's in their communities. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. So, not saying her study's wrong, I just think it's not updated, because it was done farther back. But that's just pretty much what I wanted to say on the record.
Well, that's fair enough, and you're keeping in line with the discussion that we had when we all got together, and I appreciate that. And I also appreciate you coming to the meeting. I will say that we're going to have that. We discussed this. We are going to have a meeting where we just talk about water. It'll be the primary agenda item. We're going to open it up to a complete give and take with all of our residents, whoever wants to show up. It'll be well advertised. We will be talking about the contrast between the water study that was commissioned by an outside agency, the Montgomery Countryside Alliance, as for whatever reason, and then we will be comparing that to our own data. And then we'll have the scientists, here to talk about it as well. So, I'm not conjecturing your assumption on it,
Yeah.
and at the same time, we have to be sure that we know that, and I think all the commissioners share this feeling, is that we have a lot of measures in place that are very, very conservative in terms of our water use. We kind of outlined those to you.
Right.
It's not in contrast to what you're saying about potential climate change assumptions, but our current water resource management is ultra conservative and is obviously has an eye on the future as well. Where we do get into some data disagreement, I would say, is surrounds climate change, and that's something that we will talk about when we all get together. And I don't know, Wade, if you want to add in on any of this or not.
No, it'll be either April 7th or 21st. We're waiting for that meeting with MDE to take a look at their methodology and how that relates to Pat Hammond's report, and that's going to occur on April 1st. We finally got it set up, so once we have that.
The public meeting, is Pat Hammond going to be able to come to also talk? Or?
It will definitely be anybody from that is, first of all, everybody is welcome, and then we will definitely specifically offer an invite to Montgomery Countryside Alliance. They're the ones that, ordered the report. And if they want to have this Pat Hammond come in, he'd be welcome. So he's been here before at Town Hall, so they know their way here. And we want to have that discussion. We want to have it public, and I don't think we're going to sit there and allay the fears of the people that have fears, but at the same time, it's important to just talk about methodology.
Be transparent.
Be transparent, yeah. So anything else that you guys have for Tom? Tom had a great meeting with us for about an hour and a half with town staff and I, and we just basically a free flow of information, and again, Tom's experience, so we wanted to hear what he had to say.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, good deal. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. All right. Back on the agenda, and thank you for that, Tom. I appreciate you again. Jerry, you say you're not on you don't have an agenda item to talk about?
Well, I do.
Okay, do you want to wait till that time, or do you want to just do it now? All right, sir, it's all you. Go ahead. Come on up and introduce yourself. Scouts, watch democracy in action right here.
Good evening, Commissioners. Jerome Klobakowski, 17300 Fletchall Road, Poolesville, Maryland. I do have one off agenda item. Is the other week, a couple weeks ago, I got a thing in the mail about Potomac Edison doing some utility work on Hughes Road between my property and a couple properties north of me. And as would have it, they cut my phone line. All right. Now, I had an extra one run, and I won't get into why. But bottom line is, I think the town needs to check before anyone, and it's funny because the people who were doing the work was, I think, Precision Utility Company. That was their name, Precision Utility Company.
And I think we had every single one of their trucks out there, as you probably saw.
The thing of it is what it turned out was the Miss Utility did not mark the phone line, okay? So my point is, I think anytime anyone is going to break ground in Poolesville and shoot anything under the ground, dig anything up with respect to gas, water, or telephone, cable, I think a town rep should be there to make sure that everything is marked. I know that's Miss Utility's job. However, Miss Utility didn't do it. So, and I was just fortunate enough to have another line run to my house before a long time ago that was
Like from another
abandoned.
direction?
No, bottom
Okay.
line is.
They just didn't hit that one line, they hit one but not the other?
Yeah, the thing is I was on copper. I didn't go to FiOS when everybody else did. So they told me that if your line is cut 3 times, we're going to shift you to FiOS. Well, once they had a problem up here at the switching station next to the post office. The second time, the town cut one of my lines, and then the third time, I don't remember, and all of a sudden, they said, we're going to put you on FiOS. I said, fine. And I said, here's where I want you to lay the line. They didn't do that. So then I laid a path out where I wanted it, and so they took the first line, and they just coiled up the excess and put it next to the box that was going to go into my house, and then they ran the second line. That's the one they cut, the one that was hooked to my thing, so I already had something there, the long and short of it. Okay, let's
Time out
get,
for 1 second. Town staff, they didn't mark, Miss Utility didn't come in, that whole mobilization that we saw there?
They come in, but a lot of times they do miss certain utilities.
Okay.
And we don't really have a way to go out and market. We don't have locators ourselves to locate other people's utilities, and we wouldn't want to take that liability on.
well, no, it's just to make sure that, one, they mark gas, they mark water.
We don't know, and we can't, how do we make sure when we don't, that's
Well,
not,
there's colors. You know, one is for gas, one is for water, one is for
Right, no, I get
communications.
that, I get that.
So if you don't, and if they're in an area where those lines are there, we know those lines are there, because based on our experience, somebody should say, wait a minute, you haven't got all these marked.
it's not that easy.
No?
Being in the field and marking them before, I can tell you, no.
Okay, well, I think it is that easy. I think, one, it would prevent some problems based on what's happened before in this town.
I
When we
never
got
would've guessed
cable
you
and
had 2 phone
Fios.
lines.
Huh?
I never would have guessed you had 2 phone lines.
No, neither would I, but luckily I did, and they cut the one, and I had a spare. Hey, go figure. For once, it worked.
All right, 3 minutes, 3 minutes per subject, keep going.
Okay. Okay. I think having Hope Ballet Studio in town is of the caliber, having a ballet studio of the caliber of Hope Garden in town is something that you would not expect of a town this size. However, it should not be the responsibility of the Poolesville taxpayers to pay for improvements to any of our facilities so they can perform. I would recommend it, or, either at Wayland Commons or at Riverworks. I'd recommend they go to, the Only Theater, and then the theater down in, I can't think of its name now, on the county's theater, down off of 355, and see if they have some stuff that they could give them or that they could make. Now, the high school has an art class, and they do stage productions, and maybe they could do something to where they could get the material to make this, and then have the high school delve into, go in and make it. And then the other thing is, I see something here that's respect to the grant application from Hope Gardens Ballet Studio. The other one is Riverworks. As I recall, last year, they came in for $100,000, and you didn't give them $100,000. I don't even know if I can't remember if you gave them any money, but I thought you might have given them $25,000. Well, lo and behold, now they're requesting another $25,000. So what's going to happen next year? They're going to come in for another $25,000, and the following year for another $25,000, and the taxpayers of Poolesville are just going to shell it out? It's not the Poolesville's government or the Poolesville taxpayers' responsibility to make a business in town whole. If you undertake an addition to your house, you don't come to the Poolesville government and say, I need money so I can put an addition on my house. And to me, I see that as the same thing. You start a business, it's up to you to take care of it, and if you want to do improvements, it's your responsibility to come up with the funds and the engineering to do it and do it correctly. And then the last thing is the town hall trail plans. There's still no prioritized list of the 14 trails or a cost estimate of them that's attached to the new PDF that was attached to this agenda. So I think people should know, one, where you think the first trails should be put in, and two, a rough cost estimate in today's dollars, which you can then escalate using some sort of inflationary factor to, when you comes budget time, you have an idea how much it'll cost. Anyways, that's my spiel. Thank you very much. And I have to agree with the gentleman who spoke, not everything, but because having been here for 24 years and seeing the stuff that we went through.
And being a steward of our water.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like I'm concerned, myself, because I know, like, we have a lot of wells that are like only produce 50 gallons a minute. When I was first commissioner, the town manager at that time, Jim Alsabrook, told me that you want a 100-gallon a minute well minimum, because in a drought, you're going to lose 30% of that capacity, which automatically is going to reduce that well from 100 gallons a minute to 70 gallons a minute. So when you look at all these 50-gallon a minute wells, I'm You know, and I understand, you know, I hope a lot of people are putting in single lever faucets and using restrictors on their showers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I am concerned because, you know, I understand we need development, but water is the most precious resource in this town beyond taxpayers' dollars. So anyways, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that conversation, Jerry. Thank you. And I can say I agree with some of what you just said. All right, guys, any questions for Jerry? He's already sat down. Good stuff. Thank you. Any other commenters? Anybody that didn't sign up that wants to step up to the plate? Oh, and we're going to call on you. Don't you worry. Good. All right, good. We like that. Thank you, both you guys for coming, Brian, et cetera. Sandy, appreciate you guys. Okay, good. Approval of the minutes. We have the minutes from the last meeting, March 3rd, 2025. All five of us were here. If someone could make a motion, I'd appreciate it.
A motion to approve the minutes from March 3rd, 2025.
Thank you for that. Sarah with the motion. Second. Anybody?
I'll second.
Second from Brian. Good stuff. All right, any other questions? Any other changes, abridgments, communications, updates? No? All in favor of approval of the minutes for March 3rd, 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Very good. Motion's been passed. The minutes have been approved. All right, new business. We have an update from the Montgomery County Department of Transportation, Partnership Road. I'm not sure who's taking the lead on this. Which one of you? Three of you.
Actually, we have a representative, Mr. Rohan Shrestha. Wants to come
Awesome.
up to the podium, please.
I saw the badge. I didn't know what it was for. That's good. We're glad I thought it was the press. All right. Like, where's the cameras? Anyway, come up and identify yourself. Thank you for coming.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Rohan Shrestha, representing Montgomery County Department of Transportation. I'm here today to listen to any traffic safety concerns you have regarding any of the roads or intersections here in Poolesville. So I will try to look into those concerns and see ways that I can address them. And if I'm unable to, then I will pass it on to the correct party that is well equipped to address your concerns.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're here. So if somebody else, I mean, there's many things we could talk about, but tell me,
Is there a like?
yeah,
And now let's go back.
I feel like that could be its own meeting.
right.
Exactly.
Oh, we're glad you're here. Go ahead, staff, you can start it off.
Sure. The genesis of this whole conversation really was about Partnership Road and one of the fatality that occurred recently. And I think that we took a look at some improved signage and stuff. Maybe you could talk about some of the improvements that we're looking at.
So yeah, we received the concerns regarding Weiss Ferry Road and Partnership Road intersection where the Partnership Road curves right before it meets White Ferry Road, and it creates a dangerous situation where many motorists are unable to see that there's a stop control intersection at that location. So we will be providing advanced warning signs along with 15 miles per hour advisory plate
Ooh, good.
sign to help improve the safety situation for that intersection.
That's awesome. So we already know that there was money devoted to that intersection previously, and we appreciated all the upgrades that took place. I don't remember how long ago that was, but it was all completely, you guys changed it all around. But that's definitely what's needed at that intersection. And we appreciate the responsiveness of it. What else do we have besides that, guys?
There's also just concerns about the condition of Partnership Road in places and the narrowness of it and the humps. And what would be a process, if there's even a process available, to make improvements to that roadway?
So you mean the general condition of Partnership Road itself? Yeah, I will look into it and see if it needs resurfacing, restriping, anything of that sort.
One of the biggest concerns, in my opinion, is the no shoulder. So if you have a big tractor coming one way and you're the little car trying to get out of the way of the tractor, there's a lot of places where there's not a shoulder. It literally just drops down into a ditch. So that's something that I have heard from a lot of residents.
That's regarding Partnership Road itself. So as Partnership Road is considered a rustic road,
Yep.
Improvements on that road need extensive approvals. So I cannot really give you exact solution to the shoulder problem that you just mentioned, but I can look into it and see what we can do.
Great.
I like the whole idea of all aspects that are with Partnership Road again, we've had a fatal accident there. We also could have had a fatal accident when somebody, on Partnership never slowed down and went straight across and into the field. And I mean, it did result in an accident, but it was still, that was a near miss for a fatality. So, all aspects of looking at Partnership Road and the approach of Partnership Road, both on 28 as well as Partnership, we would appreciate if the county would take a very hard look at that intersection.
Okay.
That is by far our most dangerous place outside of town. And we know that inside of town is our responsibility, and we plan on addressing some of the issues that we have through our streetscape project.
Okay.
So that's what I would say more than anything else. Anything approaching on Elgin that's these guys' responsibility?
Yeah, that'd be state.
That's state,
Cattail
yeah.
would be another one, and Jerusalem Road.
Yep.
Would be the two that we've
Right.
had concerns with before.
And, we do appreciate, again, too, once we, in fact, Brian was part of that, too, for bringing us, putting the pedal to the metal on getting Jerusalem Road repaired, and we're very appreciative of that. It was a big deal. You guys snuck it in last fall before it got, before the weather turned, so
Yeah.
a big deal for our residents, and we thank you for that. Please let your superiors know that we
Yeah.
appreciate it by stepping up to the plate on that.
I just have a question. When, and this might be completely out of your wheelhouse because this is more of a rustic roads question, but if there is a increased amount of traffic on a road, say like Jerusalem Road, there's been a lot of development, so there's a lot more traffic on that road than ever before, also in Partnership. At what point does safety outweigh rustic road designation?
Safety is always our top priority. Based on rustic roads, we have to be circumspect that they keep the rustic aspect of it. So we try not to put in as less signage as possible in rustic roads. But then again, if at any point we see a safety concern and that can only be addressed by improving the said road, we definitely go towards that and disregard the rustic road aspect.
So, along those lines, what criteria is used when you have rustic? And I'm thinking about what my fellow commissioner is saying is that you have an increase in usage of those roads. And I think about Partnership Road as well, and I think about the impact of the ferry being closed for so long that you increase traffic on other arteries. And so at what point do you revisit the designation and looking at the safety, and then how do we move forward from a prevention standpoint versus waiting till somebody else passes away to have
Exactly.
being quick to react? And so, and then I'll throw
Like
one
other
more.
than fatality,
Yeah.
that's the criteria.
So unfortunately, the classification of those roads does not fall under my jurisdiction, so I'm not able to properly answer your question, but I can get back to my superiors and check with them and get back to you.
Right, because if you could get back to us, let us know that who's the door that we need to knock on to have the conversation that in a way that we can help maximize and advocate for the safety of our residents who travel those roads. And then going back to Partnership, I just got a message that said, hey, don't forget to mention that there is a temporary stop sign at Sugarland and Partnership, and what needs to happen to make that temporary stop sign a permanent stop sign.
Okay.
Like on Partnership as it crosses Sugarland or the other direction?
I'm going to put
Sugarland
someone on the
crossing
spot real
Partnership.
quick. Mrs. Reed, you just text me the question. Ms. Reed, what exactly are you asking, and what do you
Your
see?
plant in the audience.
Yeah. Nice and loud.
The stop sign on Sugarland, it's a temporary stop sign. And it's so small that it's not visible, not well visible.
So this is at Sugarland and Partnership Road
It
intersection?
is on a Sugarland and Partnership intersection, and it is Partnership is a throughway. Sugarland has two stop signs, so it has, it's one of the two stop signs where it's temporary.
Is this the intersection with a little island kind of thing in the middle?
No island.
Not that one? Yeah, I'm not, let me,
Yeah, definitely do.
You're welcome. Thank you.
so that was Partnership and what again? Could
In
you-
Sugarland.
Sugarland, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this. I will look into it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, generations of people have launched their cars on that one, so thank you for checking that out. Go ahead, Tom Kettler in the back. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, just if you've thrown that thing, the one thing on each tree, you all notice, there's a point where the two-lane road really necks down to one lane because of a restricted bridge. I don't know where but you all, anybody that's traveled to Peachtree knows it, basically, between 28 and, Barnesville Road, I guess. You know what I'm talking about, Jim?
Yeah, no, you got it. You said it right. Yep. Tight spot.
Certainly. I don't know if that's on anybody's radar screen, but that can be very dangerous because, you know, opposing cars can't traverse that intersection, you know, at the same time, and that's sort of the way, an accident waiting to happen.
And maybe increase signage to at least help people understand how to navigate a single bridge.
Yeah.
People don't instinctively know.
Yeah, I will check if the signages are clear enough, or if they're not, then I will see how we can make it more clear.
Thank you for bringing a pad of paper. You didn't know we were going to fill it up, but we appreciate that. And then we did have the chairman of our Parks Board texted me in and asked about a crosswalk by the pool to cross over from the pool to Stony Springs. And I know we've asked for improvement on that one before too, but town staff, is that within the purview of these guys, I take it?
No, it definitely was. It's the alignment of the intersections, they're not lined up across from each other.
So that's why they can't do a crosswalk?
Yes.
Interesting.
That feels like something that could be solved.
Put that on your list and drive by during the summertime. Thank you.
Could you repeat the
Appreciate
intersection
it.
again?
It's the intersection of Cobb and Fisher Avenue.
White's Ferry at that point.
Is it White's Ferry at that point? White's Ferry and Cobb.
Oh, white.
It's the entrance to our pool, which we will have a bubble on one day.
Okay.
So that'll mean year-round traffic.
Yeah.
And it kind of like connects trails. There's a trail back there. So
Yes.
people who are walking on the trails would need to cross that road.
Correct.
And I just want to thank you for coming out, and I really appreciate the speed at which you all have responded to the letter that came in, and the speed of things happening, because I didn't think it would happen that fast. And I think Mrs. Reed in the back for writing that letter.
She writes a tough letter. I stand for all the commissioners. Thank you very much for coming in. We've given you your marching orders.
All right.
We appreciate it.
See you next month.
Thank you for being here.
you.
See you next month for another list.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we won't take it personally if you.
And our Parks Board chairman just tried to call me, so there might be more. Just hang tight. Thank you for that. I appreciate the time period on that. Good. I'm glad that was an agenda item. Thank you, town staff, for getting that on. This next up is the Hope Garden Children's Ballet grant request. Brian is here. Brian, come on and introduce yourself, and then give us some commentary. And I will say to all of the commissioners that Brian was my liaison for working with town staff and with the county to having Jerusalem Road repaired. So good job organizing your
Thank you.
side of the community over there.
Dr. Brian McNally, 19504 Lewis Orchard Lane, and board member of Hope Garden Children's Ballet Theater. The first thing that I'd like to start with is a point of clarification about what Hope Garden Children's Ballet Theater is. For clarity, it is a charity. It's a registered 501c charity. It is not a business. It does not generate profit. The ballet studio in town is a separate organization that is a for-profit business called Essence Studios. And there is a relationship, obviously, between the two, but they are distinct entities. So,
Thank you for the
so I'm
clarification
speaking
on that.
behalf of only Hope Garden Children's Ballet Theater.
Got it.
I hope that you all had a copy of the application. I think the visual aids in there will also help guide you as to the scale and look and feel of the project. So we're requesting a mini grant from the town of Poolesville to reimburse the expenditures that the organization will make to purchase theatrical grade curtains and frames and supporting materials to secure those during performances. The choice to have these, frames and curtains was made so that they are portable. They do not have to, stay out during foul weather. It is also not the town's responsibility to take care of these, curtains. And they are portable so that we can then have performances at any of the locations within Poolesville to increase the number of performances that are provided to the town's residents, including places like the Taste of Riverworks, which I've mentioned inside, interior places like Crossvines, where we had a small exhibition during our recent Enchanted Evening performance. And so that portability is a key aspect to, the funding request. Furthermore, the reason that we're asking for this overall thematically is not only to benefit our performers, our children performers, which probably make up with their families at least 5% of the residents of the town of Poolesville itself proper, but rather, more importantly, also to the overall arts push that the town of Poolesville is making. By increasing the number of performances, we strengthen the marketing plan that's on page 87 of the Planning Commission's plan, where we're having regular performances. And I note some of the interested groups that we could be inviting. Because again, Hope Garden Children's Ballet Theater is essentially a producer of shows. And so we are not limited to only those dancers at Essence Studios. And so this will give us the capacity to have different places and have the appropriate look and feel of a professional organization. But with that, I assume that there may be questions, so I'd like to open it up for any questions that I can help address in the proposal.
I mean, I'll say right off the bat, listen, I really appreciate you coming in, and to me, it just screams out that it's something that could help for performances and encourage performance groups, which is, we're not developing a cultural arts zone for nothing, and to encourage the arts and encourage performances. I've long felt that this has been something that the town potentially needed to do, and to have a partner that's willing to do a lot of the legwork for us in terms of storage and getting it set up, taking it down, working with us to make sure that it's, you make sure that something is right-sized for it. I think that's all a big deal, and I'm very appreciative for you guys stepping up to the plate and asking about it. And the Hope Garden Ballet Children's Theater, I would venture to say that we've had 1,000 residents come through that already, with another 1,000 coming through. And if it's not a town-based charity organization, I don't know what is. So I really appreciate you coming up and providing the testimony for it, Brian, and representing the theater. And commissioners, further?
I echo everything that Commissioner Brown said. I know that whenever you have partnerships, you want to be clear about boundaries. So I guess one of my clarifying questions would be, where is this stored? And I guess another question would be, would it be available for other groups to use? Let's say the high schoolers were going to do a performance there or something. Would they be able to use it?
Yeah, it's a wonderful question, and I think we have climate control facilities to store the curtains so that they don't suffer from dry rot. The frames, of course, are aluminum, and sand is something that will take on the responsibility for the lifetime of the bags.
Okay.
As far as cooperating with other groups that are interested in performances, of course, we as a producing organization, essentially, of the arts, would be more than happy to partner with any interested parties, and could be, frankly, best positioned to advise them on the proper use of those curtains, as opposed to shifting that responsibility to, for instance, the town.
Perfect. So a great way to approach other organizations that might be interested in using these would be to have them approach you as a potential partner.
That's right,
then
and
to
part of it
work
is
with
to
you on.
enhance the look and feel of performing in Poolesville, so
Perfect.
that we can attract other groups that may be interested and be a partner to them to fulfill our mission, which is to bring the arts to the local area.
Excellent. Thank you.
When I read, first of all, thank you for coming out, and I really appreciate what you had to say. And then when I read through the grant request, as well as looked at the pictures, and I thought about what a partnership would really look like, and knowing that you're a nonprofit and looking at this push to improve the arts in the town of Poolesville, and also think about how do you attract non-Poolesville residents to come into Poolesville as a great place to visit, a great place to shop, right, as a great place to potentially move to. And I said, okay, this would be a wonderful opportunity when you as you continue to step it up. And so going back to this model of a partnership, and nothing that has to be decided now, but even looking at what an MOU might look like, just in terms of being able to, kind of along with question Sarah was asking, well, there might be other groups that underneath the, and if there's an MOU that spells out what it looks like for another group underneath your supervision and guidance, to be able to use those same resources to do a performance at some of the sites that would be mentioned, kind of spelled out in an MOU. And I haven't talked to my colleagues about that, but it's just an idea that I had, is what would that look like if we develop something like that, when that type of investment is made. And if I'm hearing you correctly, it's not just investing for the participants at Hope Garden, but it's really an investment in the residents of the town, and then having the stewardship by Hope Garden for the benefit of all residents who would fall in that category of the arts, and putting on events and shows at that higher caliber. And so that's my first thought. And any thoughts on my thought?
So I certainly think that what you highlight is one of the reasons why I think our grant proposal is so compelling, is that the town would then be responsible if it were to do self-improvement of Wayland Commons by putting in curtains. It would have to, manage the care and upkeep of it for any group, regardless of the qualifications of the town. And in this way, it's shifting that responsibility to Hope Garden Children's Ballet Theater to make sure that they understand the proper use and care for materials and to manage that. And that, of course, is something that we would have to seek with each partner that was outside of our direct producing.
Yeah, and that's why I thought of like a MOU. That way it's spelled out, it's clear, it's transparent. Then this, my last question is, based on your research of what you presented in the proposal, what's the lifespan of the material? Not the sand, but
aluminum, I'm pretty sure that we can say that it'll be sufficiently long. And the curtains, we would expect no less than 5 years to maybe a decade.
Okay. All right. Thank you. No more questions for me.
Got it. Thank you, Ed. Sarah, you guys? Anything on your side?
No, I think it would be good to have something sort of MOU. I agree with that. I know you guys spend a lot of time volunteering for the organization. You probably don't want to do that for the rest of your life. So there's going to be other changes in leadership down the road, and have a understanding between the organizations, I think, would make a lot of sense.
I'll say we did something similar over at the Methodist Church years ago with some partitions, doing some events over there, and looking at the rendering with the future state, just how clean it is, where you don't see the voids. It's more professional. Psychologically, I'm sure it helps the dancers as well. But just knowing what we had partition-wise and the look, we've gotten our return on investment tenfold, probably more than that, and it was probably one of the better investments that we made as a church whole. But I like it. It was a thorough presentation, and it's nice. It's
A lot of
good. It
details.
looked good up on the bands on the stage. So
And Brian, one thing I do want to say, and I appreciate this too, and Alan, if you're done, I didn't
Hi,
want to
go
stop you. The Hope Garden Children's Ballet Theater has done an excellent job of fundraising themselves, and we know that's one of the things that we require for grants to become part of the town's burden and the taxpayers' burden, is that you show that you're willing to raise money on your own. You guys have done a very good job on that, and if you weren't, it would be a reason for us to not consider a grant. So we do appreciate that you guys have stepped up to the plate and done your own fundraising, and that plays a role in who we know is contributing to the community. So
Well, thank you for that. I think that it's clear not only from our efforts through fundraisers with private donors, but also through other government and commercial organizations. We're pursuing grants with them and have successfully been awarded ones that fund our winter show.
Right.
With a much larger budget.
And I do got one more thing.
Sure.
And although it's not, what I'm going to say is not related to your grant application, but I do want to recognize your organization for your community outreach, for those who might not traditionally have been a part of something like that you all have to offer. But I do know, and I'm aware of the outreach initiatives that are taking place even right now for an event that you have coming down, that you have in the pipelines.
That's right. Our winter performance is one where we celebrate all forms of dance and how they impact the winter celebrations. And so we're looking to engage with the community at large to continue to bring more of the community into the arts in a arts, frankly, starved area.
Yep, so thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else for Dr. McNally? Anybody?
I'm good.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Brian. We'll be talking about this more at our budget work session on Saturday.
Great.
Which is open to the public. So thank you for that, everybody. All right. Very good. So the Riverworks grant request is next, and I guess we can take the curtains maybe off your request. Is that what you're saying?
All right, thank you, Scouts, for coming out.
Yeah, thank you, Scouts.
See you next time.
Oh, Sandy, you don't have to leave just because I said that about the curtains. That's it? Oh, that's okay.
Nice.
But you're going to whack me over the head with something.
Only hit the guy in the middle.
I'm done.
Have you seen these pictures before?
Wait, this one's new, this one's new. Interior.
Wow. Fantastic.
Want to note that the grants are, the easels are a result of a grant from the Maryland State Arts Council, where Riverworks partnered with Upper County Prevention Network to do the student art show, and we spent the money on these easels.
That was a great show, by the way. I hope that is repeated someday.
Yeah, and you can see we have finally the winning design up on Riverworks right now.
The outside poster one?
Yeah, with the
Yeah, that was great.
inclusive design. Okay, I'm Sandy Wright, co-founder of Riverworks Art Center,
And I'm David Terrio.
also co-founder of Riverworks Art Center. We are here in support of our request for $25,000, not $100,000 this year, for the Performing Arts Center. I wanted to also reiterate that Riverworks is a 501c3 nonprofit organization where no funds benefit any individual.
For-profit business?
It's not a for-profit business.
Correct.
Yes, it's, right.
Thank you for the clarification on that.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Nonprofit.
You shouldn't have to say that at every meeting, but we appreciate you bringing it up.
It's important because we have a mission beyond, we have a mission that isn't to make money like locals. We'd love to make money at locals, we'll see. But we have a mission to engage provide meaningful engagement in the arts to the community. That draws on the beauty of the Ag Reserve and our history in the area. And I think we've done a really good job of that so far in the 3 years that we've been operating. For example, we have a Reserve Wind Ensemble, which is a community band that we've received $20,000 from the county to support. They recognize it as a good idea. It's created great engagement in the town. And now, yep.
You have musicians coming from like Frederick and Clarksburg.
Really?
They're looking for a local band to be a part of, yeah.
It's just beyond fun.
It is fun.
And then we've now also received $25,000 from Montgomery County for our Maiden Studio program, which is to offer accessible afternoon of create a project with an artist to anybody. It's $20 or not, It's very reasonable, and the county seems to, like that as well, sees it as a good community engagement. And finally, just so you know, Riverworks is being recognized as an arts center in the area. The head of the Arts and Humanities Council of Montgomery County reached out to see if they could have their resident artists retreat at Riverworks, which will be at the end of this month.
Wonderful.
Wow.
So
When you say at Riverworks, at Alden Farms? For
yeah,
Riverworks?
Riverworks Studio at Alden Farms, and then locals, and they want a tour,
Wonderful.
of what we're doing here. So, so I just, want to say that I think we're doing what we can for the community. We'd also like to offer up our tent for the pool bubble, our stage cover. Or perhaps it could be, in Wayland Commons. We'll rent it to you cheap, less than $40,000 a year. Anyway, so we did put up that stage cover finally. We got final inspection from the county. That was probably a bigger project than the whole renovation that we're talking about at this point.
So it's not like up at its height that it'll be.
Everything is up. Right.
It's up.
The only thing
Oh,
that's not there
maybe I
is
haven't
the
looked at it.
landscaping.
Okay.
Make it look less like a boat.
So you guys, not to interrupt, but we do want to come up, you got to come up with a sexy name for that thing, because you
I'm
can't call it what I
thinking,
think.
Spaceship.
No,
Yeah.
I'm thinking Sydney's stage cover, because it looks like the Sydney Opera House,
Oh,
and it's in honor of Sydney.
yeah. Yes.
But we do, we agree.
Yeah.
Sydney Stage.
Sydney
Sydney Stage.
Sydney stage cover. It's the cover.
We don't have a name for it yet.
Don't let it get named by knuckleheads like me.
Yeah, it's not a helmet. It's not a
Let's get
helmet.
something together on that. A helmet ain't gonna
Definitely a
work.
challenge.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're excited about it. It is a striking feature of the property now.
It's
But
amazing, you guys. Once you get the landscape around, David.
Yeah,
walked
and
it the other
it's
day.
really,
really
when we have our first performances in there, it's just fabulous, especially when you're looking at it as the audience.
Love the design, love the build, the side entrances.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a beautiful place.
be good.
So, good job.
Thank you.
What are the next steps in terms of?
Well, I was going to say,
The building.
this year, almost everything is going to happen right away. I mean, we will be building the inside. That could be as soon as spring. Most of the funding is there. The plans are drawn. We're going to permitting. The landscaping that needs to make the place more gentle. There's a fence to finish around the property so that we're not bothering our neighbors quite as much with cut through. And also the historic parts of the research that we're doing on the graves and the building itself. All that is still going on. Jeff's doing all that work. So now that we got the stage cover done, we are ready to move on and really make a splash.
Great.
Because the stage cover was a bit of a bureaucratic nightmare, we were putting everything on hold till that got resolved. Because they said, the county said, if you tie that in with your big project, you won't get your use and occupancy for the stage cover until the whole project. We thought we were saving time by just going ahead with the stage cover first. So anyway, but we got our final approval, so we're good. I wanted to mention, want to mention another community engagement by Riverworks, just to know that to share that we're supporting our community, giving back. Last night, we had a fundraiser called Empty Bowls at Locals, and it was in partnership with the WUMCO, Presbyterian Church, Backpack Bites, KPC Buddhist Relief, and Little Free Pantry, probably others. Oh, the high schools. The middle school, the high school, Glen Echo, Barnesville School, and I don't know, probably more, Wooten High School.
Who wasn't there besides probably us five?
Well, I'm sorry,
Okay, 4 out of the 5.
Guilty as charged, you were invited.
500 people that were there.
Yeah, so we raised upwards of $10,000 for Backpack Bites.
Amazing.
So,
And I just love
Giving
that,
back.
that we partnered with everybody.
Yeah.
And it's art. It was,
Riverworks
I'm sorry.
drove that, and I think it's great.
Right, and
Locals sometimes gets credit, and they really shouldn't. They're just a supporter of Riverworks, and it's
Yeah.
a place. that
They were just the
you-
location and the amazing staff.
Yes.
And they make
Aren't they
stuff.
good? Aren't they good?
Staff. They were good, great staff.
But it sounds like that's just a glimpse of what's possible once you have what you need to bring the vision to life.
That's
So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Thank the community for coming. It was really fun. And it was through the arts because the students made bowls.
I was gonna say, how many bowls did?
500 bowls, 517 bowls.
Those were great.
JPMS made quite a bit of them.
Yeah. So anyway, that was art, through the arts, we're raising money for the community. So it was lovely. Also, just to Hope Garden, we raised money for their outdoor sprung stage.
Yeah.
Am I calling it that? So we technically own it, we Riverworks, but they house it and they take great care of it.
Is it something that gets laid on top of?
Yeah,
it?
it protects the dancers, because if you're dancing on concrete,
Yeah.
you could really hurt yourself. So I just wanted as a little plug, like, they're an excellent partner to have.
Great.
I like the commingling, perfect.
And they, yes, so.
Great example.
Okay, and now,
Good, thank you.
yes, we are.
Good.
We are one and the same, I think. Okay. So next, we've asked money now to continue with our project and get to this point, that we will break ground this year. We've raised 1.7 million, right? Did I get that? Right? Yes. It's a, little over $2 million project. But we can go and, not do the final details as needed, to get this going. And we think it'll be really great for the town. We're taking a heritage site, we're reinvigorating it, it's not just a performing arts center, really. We want to tell the story of that church. I feel like that church represents so much of what this town is and its history, its heritage, because it was the Civil War, hospital in theory. It might be in theory, there, who knows what it's been, but it might have been the telegraph office for the generals to report to the president during the Civil War.
You're learning a lot. And
We have soldiers that may or may not be buried there. We have residents who are buried there. It just, it was the town hall, it was a vet, it was the thrift shop. It's like this important piece, this building served a lot of purpose in the town, and I think that in itself is a great story, and it's a cute little building, so I hope we enhance it and get visitors and have them learn about Poolesville, blah, blah, blah.
And I love the interior.
Yeah, the interior is.
The
Some of
rustic
bells-
industrial.
Some of the bells and whistles that we're planning on putting in here is video feeds to different places in the building to run these historic,
Like a museum almost.
museum-like, but
Right.
at least a video going of what was there and
Yeah.
what we're gonna do.
That's awesome.
Probably don't need to say it, but from the planning commission perspective, we're looking at that area as part of cultural arts district. I'm not sure what came first, you guys and your ideas, or the planning
Synergy.
commission's thoughts, but
Synergy.
we view it as a vitally important investment into the future of our town. Something that can unite our community in a way that nothing else can, in my opinion. And we've spelled it out clearly in the master plan. Having a project like this not go off well would not be good for the start of a cultural project. It could really set a standard for what we could expect in that area. So I'm excited to see what we can do.
Heard.
I agree with what Bob said and support what he has to say.
It's funny, but you can already see the use is, like, the kids are there every afternoon on our picnic benches, and it's our idea to have that as a green space that everybody can use and have this thing up and open so that doors open and invite the kids in, and everyone in,
Yeah.
So, this should be the year.
This is the year.
It has to be the year.
Well, it's already been the spring of the tent, so let it be the year of Riverworks and the museum and the building.
Year of the helmet.
That's right, the year of the helmet. I didn't want to say that. We can go with it. You got to put a little
Sydney's
R.
comeback is better.
Yeah. Sydney's helmet. Anyway, all right, guys, thank you for that. More?
I want
Yes,
to
please.
invite the commissioners to our Taste of Riverworks on May 31st. We will be introducing you at 5 o'clock. It's from 4 to 7.
Where is it going to
On the
be?
grounds of the old church. And of course, we partner with Hope Garden. They have their silent auction at that time, at that event as well, and performances, thank you. Yes, with the strong floor.
Had a really neat display inside the building. Are you
Yeah.
going to do something
We'll
inside
have
the
to-
building again?
No, it's going to be under
It might
construction.
be under construction.
Absolutely.
You said 7:30 or 7? On a
5 will be.
4 to 7, be there at 5, please.
4 to 7, okay.
And we will have plein air artists during the day from 11 to 2 at various historic sites and farm sites and wineries, et cetera, in the area, also to bring awareness to those sites. And you can go visit those, and then you can buy the art at the event.
And the Nighthawks will be there.
Oh, yeah, we
What?
are the Nighthawks.
All right, that's it. I'm canceling
That's
my
it.
plans.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to be there, but
Yeah.
that's,
Anyway,
that'll be
yes.
awesome. Get the Nighthawks
be really
going. All
fun.
right, good job. Way to go. All right, guys, any other questions for the gang from Riverworks? And no? Anything else? Guys, questions on the grant? Town staff? No?
Let us know if there's anything we can.
Very clear.
Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course, my son's getting married that afternoon.
So you got the morning, right?
Yeah, I got the morning clear. Yeah, I know. Well, I'd already sent a note to my wife, and I need a place to stay since I sent that note off. So,
All right.
that's another story.
When we tell
I can roll it up here at Town Hall, I guess. Oh, really?
Jerry Klodakowski. Jerry wanted to donate personally.
Wouldn't that be great if that was his?
From MDOT.
Gosh, the county guy.
Oh,
was the county guy?
The MDOT guy?
I may have his number, I'll check on the email.
Yeah. If you have the
Anybody
email,
get his
just
actual number when he was here?
put it there.
Did you guys get his number while he was here or anything?
I have it.
Yeah, we have it.
Text him right away?
Yeah, as soon as we get done here, I'll,
Come back?
Yeah.
I'm going to push you because I'm trying to go play basketball.
Okay, that's fine. Well, hey, we're on it. So appointments to the boards and commissions, thank you for that, Sandy, and wherever Dave went. Appointments to boards and commissions, town staff will lead us up, and then we'll take it from there.
in front of you is a list of some names and positions. We do have 2 folks on the Parks Board, Patrick Trainer and Doug McKinney, that are going to be stepping down. But we have 3 other appointments, reappointments that we want to go ahead and do tonight. First one is on the Planning Commission, is Lexi Huber, she's the chair. Board of Zoning Appeals, Pilar Garrett and Laura Eckert, both need to be reappointed. And then Marcus Melton on the Ethics Commission.
Got it. Thank you for that, town staff, for bringing that to our attention. And I do want to recognize, and we will recognize on a separate ceremony for both Patrick and Doug for their contributions to the
years.
town, especially
Wow.
Doug's longstanding contribution to the town. It's been amazing and very, very fruitful for us. So can we, is it possible if we can make a motion to do all these reappointments en masse, or do we need to
You
do it
can.
individually?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys heard that. I need somebody to make a motion to reappoint the following members to the following boards, and you fill in the blanks.
All right, I motion that we appoint Lexi Huber, reappoint Lexi Huber to the Planning Commission, reappoint Pilar Garrett and Laura Eckert to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and reappoint Marcus Melton to the Ethics Commission.
Very good, Sarah. Okay, you guys, you've heard it from town staff. Sarah's made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'd like to second that.
Second from Brian Bupp. And any questions on those reappointments?
Nope.
All those in favor of the reappointments, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Town staff, thank you guys, thank them for their continued service. We appreciate it. All right, old business, town trails plan. Who's presenting?
So at the last meeting, we had a presentation by the group, and Niles, they put it all together for you guys, and really what we're looking to do is to adopt this plan, or amend it and adopt it, whatever it needs to be, but it was presented to be adopted as a comprehensive or master plan for our trail system. Not that it has to be funded right now, not a priority list has not been made, no concept of cost estimates. Very similar to what was done in the early 90s. There was a trail
master plan that we adopted and had in the comprehensive plan, this is the exact same thing. So as developments occur or as money becomes available, then, we can pick and choose and determine what we want to fund and not fund. So it's before you today, just the plan as presented for possible adoption.
Okay, go
So-
ahead, Sarah.
First of all, huge appreciation. I can tell tons of work has gone into this, and I love the way that it's organized. I think that's helping us to get sort of the final vision of connecting all of our trails. My one concern is that we have some really valuable land owned by the town that I would really love for residents to have access to that are not covered with this current trail plan. And that brings us back to the forest conservation piece of property and the beaver dam pond and the land that connects those two. And I did hear in the presentation what felt like just a general, it's not feasible. But I guess before we rule it out, I would like to have someone who is professional rule it out as not feasible, because those seem like some pretty valuable pieces of land that I think residents deserve to enjoy and appreciate.
And so was there,
Yeah,
go ahead, Brian.
John Strong was the one that said it was just not feasible, that it would be, the town would never have the money to be able to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like when I had a conversation with him, maybe you've spoken more.
Maybe I'm thinking about a different piece of property. But the one
Have you
one
guys
trail that was,
spoken to John at all?
So no, there is a lot of challenges with that particular trail system. There's some wetlands in there, some areas that need culvert pipes and bridges to be placed in there. So there are some challenges with it. What started this whole trail thing was, John, I think it was $60,000 to have it surveyed and to get the feasibility of it. And we said, okay, hold on, do we want to do this? And the trail group come along. So that was the start of this whole process we just went through.
he said that he couldn't, well, and
It does have challenges, yeah.
yeah,
It would be expensive, is what
it would be very, yeah.
So not that it's not possible, but it would be a high cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the initial cost that he said that we would probably never get over, just to do the assessment, was $60,000, like Wade said. And then find out they might need to spend $250,000 or more to put it in.
Is there, Sarah, are you trying to, and, I know there was some previous discussion, are you interested in having it not be precluded from future study? Or
Yeah, I would
where
like
are
to
you
not
on that?
have, I guess I would not like to just have it removed from the potential trails to consider.
Is that contrary to what the Trails Group came up with? Would that position be contrary to that?
I would say the position, Brian was on the Trails Group, but the position of the Trails Group was that because of the issues of feasibility, because of the issues of concern around it, that the preferred path would be to look at things like looking at the middle school pond, looking at sort of extending it up connecting it to the sidewalk network that is already there. That was the way that they perceived to try to keep with the priorities that had been set out, which was to look at connectivity, try to connect these separate issues together. That was sort of their goal, and that was their way to try to approach it with the overall theme of the plan.
And I'm just asking this question, I'm trying to read your mind, so feel free to interrupt me while I'm marching around in there. I'm thinking that you're thinking potentially, and this always gets me in trouble. My wife says, do not, don't try to think like me. I'm just thinking that you're thinking that if some big donor came in and said, I'm going to write a check for $500,000, I'd love to see this trail come into play again.
Maybe, or
You
grant
just, right.
from the state that says like, hey, you're helping to preserve this forested wetland area, and like I don't have a solution for how it would get funded. I just want it to remain a possibility because those are valuable pieces of land, I think, and beautiful pieces of land. And yeah.
So is it fair to say then, from what the group has put together, that the group's recommendation doesn't preclude the future study of that that parcel. It just doesn't land on this list of what has been, will be an established priority list.
Right. And, yeah, I mean, and we didn't, our initial feasibility in our minds, right? We've taken a reasonable look at what would be feasible, suggested that we stay out of certain areas. Like this wouldn't be a good spot for a trail because it just reasonably doesn't seem feasible.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that that's not something that couldn't be done. And I don't know that this can be sent to the Parks Board with a thought of, hey, can we keep this open for a future look?
Or alternatively, are there ways to access those two end parcels that don't necessarily connect, but maybe it's a loop around the forest conservation area, maybe a loop around the Beaver Dam Trail? Like, are there ways for residents to still get access to enjoying those pieces of property that avoid some of the?
So when we developed the forest conservation plan, we actually put a trail directly through the middle of it, an easement, just for that purpose, to do matches up with the other lines. So going around it would be more difficult because we use the rest of the lands.
Been walking straight.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And it just similarly with the Beaver Pond area, there is questions there. We haven't looked at what it would take to go around it, but there are forests and wetlands back there as well. So we'd have to.
Preston has
look at-
promised me a tour this week with the nicer weather.
Oh, of that area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So, which is fine. I mean, that's me, but but again, I'm not a professional. I can't really assess.
Right.
Like, oh yes, this is.
And yeah, and that's stuff that we can look at specifically, I guess, is what is that question of something around the park. The idea that's also in the trails group is utilizing the path that we do have into that pond to have a viewing place or something like that to better utilize just the pond itself. So
maybe this is a, the trail system, the map, the plan as is whole and complete, but we also need to think about a way to better utilize that land. It might not be connectivity through the trail system.
Sure.
Maybe a stub out of some sort or something
It
else.
might be its own
what I
little
think.
butterfly garden, forest
Is it
conservation
separate
area to
entity?
visit. Yeah, I am totally
agree with you.
open
That's
to
a
that. I
pretty
just want
critical
residents
place.
to be able to appreciate these pieces of land that we have. And I'd like to continue to conserve them, both.
So it almost sounds like the trail plan itself is just a trail plan, but then being able to access some of the other property is his own project. All right, because I've been back there to see it, and then I walked straight in and walked straight back. And I think it's probably, and when you
You
go
only
and
go so
look at
far.
it, you can only go so far. And I just think about what's right there. And then I'm thinking too, conserving some of that nature and those habitats that are there as well. Because you get over there and you start building a lot of different things around. You drive up
Lose that,
some of like the snapping turtles. I prefer for them to stay over there.
Fine, yep.
Right? And some of the other
Right, how do we
wildlife.
support both conservation, but part of raising humans who appreciate
The
and
see
are
and
willing
go.
to fund conservation, right, is for them to have opportunities to enjoy it and learn about it. And these could be potentially educational spaces, they could also be just enjoy the serenity of the space.
Then that fiscal conservative side of me always thinks about the maintenance, the upkeep, the cleaning, the litter, and and then cleaning up the litter and all of that kind of things too.
Yeah.
So
So can we say, and I'm open to keep talking about this too if you guys want to, but can we say that we can bring it to a vote to have a consensus on the list that's been developed, the recommendation by the Trails Group, but we can also say that we would keep an open mind towards further discussion regarding access to that area, separate from doing this, having this Trails Group approval of it.
Yep.
You guys okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, so we need a motion for that, then I take it?
Yes.
What does that motion sound like?
Before we get that motion.
Okay, thank you.
Should I abstain from this?
no, you were a part of it, and
You're a
that was.
liaison, you're an active
Yep.
liaison.
Yeah, you're a voter.
We'll make sure.
Yeah, what do we say, give me some language.
Sure. Let me see, I got two of them here.
It would be the third map, actually. The third map is the is the trail map, that
I
one.
was looking for a title, there we go.
Yes.
The one we're talking about specifically,
Hunter's Run.
it's behind Hunter's Run.
Yep.
Just that you adopt the sidewalk and trails master plan as presented by the Working Trails Committee.
There you go. That's an easy one. Whoever wants to step on it, let's go.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve what Wade said.
The minutes will reflect the,
Sidewalk and trails.
Sidewalk and Trails Master Plan is presented by the Trails Working Group.
Oh, perfect. Good. We have a motion. Do we have a second? You don't have to repeat it. Second? Who?
I'll second.
Second from Alan. Okay. Any other further discussion on it? Good discussion. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No one? Great. We've passed the motion. Town staff, thanks for the work on that. Trails group across the board, appreciated input. Awesome. Ed, you just provided clarity, and we thank you. As always.
There's the clarity we needed.
I just wanted to spread around the love.
Yep.
All right, town staff, that's enough of this silliness. Town manager's report, let's go.
just a couple quick things. Everybody got their budget books?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? So Saturday morning, we'll meet first at the wastewater plant, and Preston's gonna have his tractors out there and stuff, so you can see that kind of stuff too.
4 a.m., right?
8 a.m.
I'm just kidding.
8 a.m. is good.
Want to get there early. Got to beat Ed.
Yep.
Is there a Zoom meeting for that too, or?
I'll bring my phone around and.
There you go. And
I'm
once-
so glad everybody had read their books before we get to the meeting. That's really great.
You said that last year and it didn't go that way.
I'm saying everybody-
That's 8 a.m.
That's at 8 a.m., so it'll take about an hour, and then we'll come back here and go through the budget work session.
And this may sound dumb, but just to get there, we go up that.
No.
All the way down and go up the road.
Question, yes. Right behind the entrance sign to Poolesville off of Fisher Avenue, 107. Just take the turn, it goes all the way back about a quarter mile. You'll see it opens up to the solar panels and then the wastewater plant.
Or you can take one of the new walking trails that'll be happening.
Oh,
There you go.
Yep.
Do I need to wear like my rain boots or anything?
No open-toed shoes, definitely. Other than that, you'll be fine.
good, thank you. Look,
Give you samples to leave with. That's all I have.
I'll leave a sample for you.
that's it? Oh, that's a great town manager.
Okay.
You guys have questions for the town manager, assistant town manager, anybody?
Oh, we're good.
Members of the audience, anything more? You've had a fill? That's it for now?
All right.
Okay, guys, need a motion.
A motion that we adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Ed for adjournment, second by Sarah. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? None? All right, see you Saturday morning. Bright and early, Brian Bupp.
That's,
What's the time?
Call it real hand right now.